Today's lesson is solving equations 2. Our two objectives are to write and solve equivalent equations and to transform equations. There are 4 steps in solving equations, and I want you to write these 4 steps in your notes. The first is to clear grouping symbols. Grouping symbols are things like brackets, parentheses, etc. Then our second step is to combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. Third is to transform the equation to solve. Remember, transform is using legal moves. And then finally, check your work with substitution. Let's practice using these 4 steps. Copy down this example in the section of your notes where it says example. The first thing we need to do is clear our grouping symbols. And remember, we use the arrows to remind us that we need to distribute what's outside of the parentheses by all terms inside the parentheses. So I copy down my 4n, and then 5 times 7n is 35n, and 5 times 3 is 15. Equals 9 times n is 9n, and 9 times 5 is 45. So step 1 is now done. We cleared our grouping symbols. Now I need to combine like terms. So I'm going to color code. I have a variable term of n's, and I have constants. And I want to combine any like terms that are on the same side of the equation. So on this left side, I have 4n and 35n, so I could write 39n. And my constant 15 is the only constant on that left side, so I'm going to just keep that. And then on the right side, I don't have any like terms to combine, so I just copy it down. Step 2 is now done. Now I need to transform the equation to solve, and transform means I want to move all my variable terms onto one side and all my constants onto the other side. So again, I've got that variable term and I have constants. So in this case, I want my variable terms, my n's, to be on the same side, and my constants that I circled in blue on the same side. So I'm going to start by subtracting 9n. By doing that, I'm going to move all my variable terms onto that left side. So I have 30n, because 39 minus 9 is 30, plus 15. And then 9n minus 9n is 0n, so I don't even need to write it down. So I'm left with 45. So now you can see I have all my variable terms on that left side, but I still have constants on both sides. So my next move needs to subtract 15 so that my constants are all on one side. So I have 30n, and 15 minus 15 is 0, so I don't have to even write it down. 45 minus 15 is 30. And my last move is to divide by our coefficient. And remember, our coefficient is the number part of that variable term. And so 30 divided by 30. And remember, when you're dividing, you need to divide all terms. So 30n divided by 30 is 1n, and 30 divided by 30 is 1. Step 3 is now done. I transformed the equation to solve. Now I can check my work with substitution, and what that means is I'm going to substitute any variable in my original equation by the answer that I found. So I have 4 times 1 plus 5, 7 times 1 plus 3 is equal to 9 times 1 plus 5. Well, 4 times 1 is 4. And then with the second part, I need to start inside the parentheses. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So I have 5 times 10. And 1 plus 5 is 6. So I have 9 times 6. Well, 5 times 10 is 50. And 9 times 6 is 54. So I have 54 equals 54. Check. I want you to try to solve these 2 problems. You'll need to record them in your notebook and then press play when you're ready to check your work. Now try problems 3 and 4. You'll need to copy them in your notebook and press play when you're ready to check your work. And finally, try problems 5 and 6. Copy them in your notebook and press play when you're ready to check your work. So today we learned how to solve equations using the 4 steps, where we wrote and solved equivalent equations and we transformed equations.